This is reaction video number 5. It is another TED Talk by Ben Huh. It is titled, What If You Were an Immigrant? In this talk, Ben discusses what it means to be an immigrant and the importance around who we're letting in and why. He uses this platform to bring awareness, again, to the why and the who. And then right off the bat, Ben makes it very obvious that this is a very serious discussion and that he will not be making very many jokes in his talk, even though he does crack a few along the way, but he just wants to make that very clear to the audience. So here are a few of my takeaways from the video. Ben Huh started the talk off with kind of a deep statement of he can't escape it, meaning Ben came to the United States as an immigrant, so meaning he can't escape his title as an immigrant, so he will always be labeled as an immigrant, even though that's not totally what he's seen as, but he elaborates on this more in the video. He came to the U.S. in 1994. He was 14 years old when he moved here, and he said at this age he was able to understand the American culture while still being able to understand all the aspects of being an immigrant. So he said had he been any other age, he's not sure how the outcome would have been. So if he would have been 10 years old or 21 years old, he doesn't know how he would have reacted. Moving into the video, he starts off by saying immigration is an unfair trade. I thought that was a very impactful statement, just right from the get-go. He said the parents pay the costs, the children reap the benefits, and the grandkids take it all for granted. He followed this up by introducing poverty into immigration, and he said that many immigrants live in poverty, but he also said that many do not. And he said each immigrant has their own experience with poverty. Excuse me. He said the way he looked at poverty was Oliver Twist. So that's kind of how he viewed it, and he never said that they truly lived in poverty, even though he did discuss some of his childhood and how he lived in a one-bedroom apartment with his parents, and how he invited his friends over one day and they didn't have anywhere for his friends to sit, and how some might view that as poverty, but he didn't view it as that way. He started talking about how a century ago the greatest suffering in immigration was caused by nature, meaning it was caused by the distance of the journey, illness, acts of God on the way over to the United States. He then followed this up by saying something that kind of stuck with me, but it just kind of all makes sense, especially where we are in the world right now. Saying 100 years later today, suffering in immigration is caused by man, not by nature. Then he said the word bureaucracy. He said we've almost totally escaped nature, and everything that that they've tried to escape over the past 100 years, they've almost done. They've said that all of the suffering now is caused by man. So the way people are viewed, that's caused by man, that's not caused by nature. He said it's easier to ship a box of bananas from India to the US than it is to reunite a child with her parents. That was a deep statement, and it kind of just gives you perspective on things. Another one of his slides in the video said, "This country is built on immigrants and immigration. There's no question about it." And this is one of his quotes. He said, "We don't like to see the people outside of our borders as people." He said, "I don't know if we see them as threats, people trying to steal our jobs, even if we're not going to get those jobs." But he listed off a few examples of what really drives that fear, and he followed up that quote by saying he's not really sure what drives that fear. That's why he did give a few examples of what could really be causing people to look at these people outside of our borders differently. And then he said, "The reason this country continues to have a population that is thriving and that is diverse is due to immigration. It's kind of like a rotation, if you will." Another one of his slides that, excuse me, was just really like impactful. Again, talking about like how we don't view these people as people that are outside of our borders, was, "It's not that immigration itself is controversial, it's that immigration of certain kinds of people is controversial." So again, judging the way people look. He talked about this for a few minutes in his talk. He brought up the way people look, race, religion, their beliefs. But moving on into his video, before his closing remarks, he started talking about a little bit of what he does. He runs a technology, like a website company. So he gave this little fun fact. It said that more than a third of all American technology startups have at least one immigrant co-founder. And he said he's not really sure why that is, but that's pretty much just how the cookie crumbled, I guess. And then into his closing remarks, like I just said, he started to get a little choked up, so you can obviously tell that this topic means a lot to him. And he said, "We're missing an opportunity to have an intelligent discussion about what we the people want," meaning in regards to who we want to let in. He stood up there and said, "You can ask me who I believe, who I want to let in, or who I think we should let in." But he said, "It doesn't matter what I think, he's just one vote." He said, "We're letting other people decide who we let into this country," meaning we're letting the people in office decide. He said, "Do not let this opportunity pass." He said, "The only thing that matters is that we talk about who we do believe in, we should let in, and that we tell people that are in office." He said, "We need to let them know, and we need to let them believe in something, like believe that there is good, that the people outside of the borders are good. We need to," and when he said to be heard, he means let people in office hear you. Like, again, he's just one vote, but numerous people, you need to let the people in office know. So I really enjoyed the video. I thought it was very informative, and I really liked how passionate he was about it. So